we are going to go through the present perfect tense. And this tense refers to something that has basically taken place in the past but continues to the present. And so this idea of time, let's begin here with the past and the present. Whenever you have this conception of something beginning and continuing on, you are dealing with the perfect tense. The present perfect starts at some point in the past and it continues on to the present. It does not stop in the present, but it's continuing on. And again, it began at some point in the past. So that's a little bit abstract. Let's take a look here. I have lived in New York for 10 years. So here's 10 years ago. Landed at the airport in JFK, and they started living in New York, living, and now they're talking to you, and you're sitting in their apartment on Broadway and 3rd Avenue, or some fancy place in New York, and you're sitting there, so that's the present. That person has not left. You're sitting in his apartment, or her apartment, and they're telling you, I have lived in New York for 10 years. Let's take another look here. She has been a fan of Broadway musicals since she was a child. So she's a little strange-looking 6-legged child, but nonetheless, she was, say, 7 years old, and she went to her first musical and continued on, and there she is today, still going to Broadway musicals, and I suppose still with 6 appendages, but still a fan. And that's the essence of present perfect, talking about something that describes someone today that happened a long time ago. Again, that's continuous, that's still going on. Now, imagine in A, if this person is now living in London, then they cannot say, I have lived in New York for 10 years. That wouldn't make sense. Or if she is no longer a fan of Broadway musicals, then it would make sense to use has been a fan. Okay, let's take a look at some other examples. I visited the bookstore yesterday. Here we have simple past. Pretty straightforward. I visited the bookstore yesterday. Now in D, it says I have visited the bookstore yesterday. That would not work. That's yesterday is an event in the past. So what do we put in the blank here? Well, we can have many different things to show that the bookstore is somewhere this person goes to and they visited it numerous times over the years, over the months. So I have visited the bookstore many times. I have visited the bookstore before. I have visited the bookstore whenever an author comes to visit. So again, you're showing a repeated action that's happened in the past, maybe happened many times in the past, and is continuing on today. It's still something that reflects the present. And that is the essence of the present perfect tense.